Greetings, kids and nerds, and ladies universe, and white and nerdy. And judging by the title of this video, you probably want me to get straight into it. But the thing is, and that's where we kind of do need to address this. But before we take a look at what is the critically acclaimed Tom King Division work, which actually won an Eisner, we've already seen this year the introduction of one of Marvel's more unique, and in a sense, he's a little bit of an underrated character who also, in most comic incarnations, is based off a Division. I am, of course, talking about the Marvel superhero, who really is more weirder than you expect, and I want people to forgive me while I'm a big comic book nut. I know little to next to nothing about Wonder Man. Shock, I know. But I kinda don't know the guy as much as, say, someone like Captain America or Spider-Man, or, God forbid, even the Punisher. He's one of the characters I know little to next to nothing about. But if anyone is a die-hard fan of Wonder Man, feel free to comment on anything I might have gotten wrong, or feel free to add in any information that I do not know about. My knowledge goes so far, truthfully, to tell you. But we've seen Yahya Abdul-Mateen II narrate as his debut appearance as Wonder Man. I know nothing about it. I don't own Netflix or Disney Plus or wherever the series had ended up. No. I'm not that kind of person. But there are characters in Tom King's Division that did appear in Wonder Man. So, let's have a small talk about the importance of Wonder Man, because he is in the Vision, and he plays a kind of big role in it, especially since that this book is about Vision's past. So let's try and talk about the magnificent Wonder Man. Wonder Man first made a debut appearance way back in Avengers number 9, back in 1963 or 1964. He's Simon Wells, and he becomes a superhero, and he ends up joining with the Avengers. Not much is known about him except that he can absorb energy, and in some cases he can redirect that enemy energy. Sometimes he has super strength, sometimes he's a man of great talents, but mostly Wonder Man seems to shift around from time to time. But at first, he was a man known as Simon Wells, and he wore that kind of costume when he first appeared, which has now become a staple and iconic in Marvel history. For more to the point, he made his first debut appearance, but he wasn't really a big member of the Avengers, at least not at first. Yet, see, that's the thing with Wonder Man. He made a debut appearance in the Avengers, but he doesn't become an actual big part of the Avengers. He doesn't do that until Vision eventually is either killed and or leaves the team. When the Avengers were relaunched in the early 2000s, Wonder Man was brought back onto the team, and he had a relationship with the Scarlet Witch. Now, for a lot of those Marvel fans that I definitely know that I have, yes, originally Vision and the Scarlet Witch had a relationship, and they also believably had 2 sons. We'll talk more about them later. But yeah, eventually Vision died, came back in a different body, and the new body and the old body of Vision was remade into Wonder Man, aka why he probably had a relationship with the Scarlet Witch, since sometimes Wonder Man's Vision body possesses the memories of the Vision that he had, so that explains why Wonder Man is trying to have the heart for the Scarlet Witch. And yeah, in the main comic continuity, Wonder Man died. Then they brought him back because, well, they needed another character. They killed off the Vision, so they decided, how about Wonder Man be remade with the Vision's old body? And that's as best as I got. And remember when I said that Wonder Man had energy absorption? Well, sometimes he can turn the energy he absorbs into energy that he can radiate off of his body, and thus create a much more powerful form for himself, as well as projecting that energy. He can also fly, sometimes have super strength, etc., and etc. And with that very long and unnecessary information that you did not need, that any Wonder Man fan can be certain to give me if they've seen the TV show or they know about the character, let me know in the comments down below. But as such, that's not why you came here. You want me to talk about Tom King's Division, which I did way back in 2020, I think. Yeah, that video's old and not as good, so I'm gonna give it a more in-depth review here, especially since Wonder Man is basically making Marvel all that cash money right now. So as such, let's dive into Tom King's Division and see what exactly happens when you put an old school character in modern suburbia. I like to also warn people that this has to deal with segregation, racism, and some pretty dark topics. So if you are not into that, I understand if you want to drop out of the video right now. I'm serious. It deals with racism, segregation, and a bunch of old topics that most of you might not be comfortable with. So I'm just giving you the warning now that you can click off this video, either come back when you're ready, or just skip it all entirely. I'll leave that decision up to you. So as such, let's dive into Tom King's Division and see exactly how Tom King made one of Marvel's most unique characters into one of Marvel's most amazing characters. We have 12 issues to go through, so I'm just going to try to summarize mostly everything up as quickly as I can. But I love the cover here as it looks like a family tree. You have Hank Pym up at the top, who created Ultron, who in exchange created the Vision, who Ultron also created another character named Victor Machine that we'll talk about later. And Vision in creation created Wonder Man, who Wonder Man created the Grim Reaper. We'll talk about him more later. Then Vision had a thing for Scarlet Witch, and they had two sons, Vulcan, who was a part of the Young Avengers, and his brother, who I'm not sure about. And then there's the Vision family, who we'll talk more about later. But I really do love this cover, as I never got that it was a family tree until I reread it to do this review, so very nice touch. We opened sometime in September in a suburban home. I can't believe you're making me do this. They're robots, Nora. They don't want cookies. They're not robots. I went online. There's something like Since something. Problem solved. It said they moved here because the Division is the Avengers man in the White House now. And also, rumor has it had maybe his super friend don't fully approve of this whole family thing that he did. Of course they don't approve. Robots making robots trying to be all, I don't know, trying not to be robots. It's unnatural. You don't listen. They're not robots. They're those things I was saying. And as such, to make the conversation a little bit more interesting, the Visions opened the door, especially after her husband said this. Honey, I love you, but they're toasters, fancy red toasters. They're not you and me. They don't eat cookies, you know. After that interesting meeting, the Vision throw away the cookies, and even Vision's wife, Vivian, is very confused about everything. But Vision tells her that everything will work out for the better, but he's put here because of something that he did with the Avengers, which we'll talk more about later. But they're trying to make a life for themselves, live in suburbia, and of course they had to have two children, Vin and Viz, who some people might remember from the Champions line. They're trying to make a life for themselves and go to school, which the children kind of are resentful for doing, and even Vision's wife pointed out that this is very complicated, and she's a little bit afraid of her baby going to high school. The reason why becomes very obvious. Viv? Yes, brother. Am I normal? Father said that we must strive to remain ordinary. Yes, I know, but is it that the same? Does doing so make me normal then? I do not know. Perhaps that is why he sent us to school, so we might understand such things. Yes, that must be true. As later in the Vision household, things seem to be going okay for the most part. I guess their mother's checking over their homework, the kids don't want to do so, and then Viz is suddenly struck by a sword-like object. And this brings us into a Wonder Man villain that appears in the story, the Grim Reaper. Imposter! Imposters!
Man, you come right out of a comic book.
I'm not exactly joking. Look at that outfit. I mean, my God. This is the Grim Reaper. He's a Marvel supervillain who dresses like this, but he has a really cool superpower where that he can possess dead people to actually do things for him. So he's kind of like a necromancer. It's really nice. Anyways, he attacks the Vision family and he goes on ranting about how they're imposters.
Did you think I wouldn't find you? Everywhere I look, I see you. Everyone is so eager to share their photos of the new perfect family. A family made from a stolen copy of my own brother. When will you learn that Vision is not Wonder Man? You are not a family. You are not real.
That's that symbol, understand? Are you crazy? Is that your problem? No, he means...
Well, he might not be, but Vivian might be, as she repeatedly smashes poor Grim Reaper's face in with a cookie sheet. What? And that's the end of our very first issue. On to issue 2, Vin, in protecting his sister, almost kills a boy. After just wondering what happened to his sister. Whoops. As even Vision apologizes for the way that he is acting, but the principal's not buying it. The principal even had the brain to say, "Do you know what I would do to a kid who brings a gun to my school? These two, Vin and Viv, as you say, they are guns." I can't, just, never mind. What do you want me to do about this, Mr. Vision? You want me to argue with you? You want me to show your children what the kids can do to my student? A gun is just metal in a shape. It can kill. What are these two, then? As even Vision points out that they have been protected on this incident and that it will not happen in the future. Hopefully coming to terms with the idiotic principal. Later, Vision is gonna repair his daughter with Tony Stark. Oh, George, this would be wonderful. Tony might turn her into a frickin' alcoholic beverage machine. I mean, for goodness sakes. Yes, yeah. Well, we good what's starting this rush energy. Well, if it knocks out the entire American grid, I'm telling Jarvis you and Ewan made me do it. Obviously. I'll tell you should turn off the bad sensors. All that power going through you. This one's gonna hurt quite a bit. Are you alright? Whatever you want. Alright, here we go. Jesus Christ, I was just joking about Tony being drunk. Maybe he really is. Look at how much energy that he frickin' is zapping into his poor daughter. I think that Tony might have realized, holy crap, I shouldn't have had my morning martinis like that. We got to sometime later about that boy that Vin, accidentally injured, and so Vision's wife goes to talk with her father, who shows her a gun, just in case if anything goes awry. They talk about their students and why he thinks that, the children should not go to school. They look different, they talk different, and what's worse is that he has a video of what his son did. So, merchant point, he can use that against her. But, yeah, she's not all happy about this. Yes, I know. Please understand, I too am trying to be real. Look, lady, please, I ain't playing around on this. I belong here. I will do what it takes to protect my boy. I will do anything. You hear me, lady? Dad? Is that you? We belong here. Dad, are you awake? What is it? Just go away! This is my neighborhood! It ain't yours! Just go! And of course, he tries to shoot, but because the Vision is a transparent being, it goes right through Vision's wife and hits his son. Which, of course, he blames it all on her, who kills him by punching his head and basically caving it into the wall. Oh yeah, nice symbolism there upon the racism, just Really brilliant. And we cut to a flashback of the Vision and the Scarlet Witch after they just had intercourse. We don't see them thankfully having intercourse, but look at the look on the Scarlet Witch's face. She was not expecting the Vision to be part of a vibrator. So to ease the tension, he tells her a very bad joke. One that basically bears not repeating. Anyways, over to an homage from the Avengers when George Perez was the artist and the two of them became together. They're talking about what else that they should do behind everything, and if they should come out when to actually tell the Avengers that they love one another. But the Scarlet Witch says that everything will be fine as long as they just play their cards right. Basically, hide in secret. And as I told you, Wonder Man makes an appearance. Yep, Simon does, as he invited everybody over to a great and wonderful dinner as he talked about, well, who else? The man that's like a brother to him, the Vision. But the greatest wonder of all, other than if we, all of us here, have become a family. And that wonder was born out of our wonderful host, out of their love for each other. So let's raise a glass to wonder, to the Vision and Scarlet Witch, which, if you remember, that does not end happy. We cut to sometime later where Wanda makes visions of her children, visions that she thinks are real, as Wonder Man tries to talk her out of it that we don't have children. These kids aren't real. So you just created basically memories or imperfect visions, copies of your children. Even to the point where they're actually real, Vision tells them he's not their father, because at that point he had no memory of them, because like I said, Vision became Wonder Man by this point. Oh no, so you gotta love this. Simon Williams, Omega the Unknown. Yeah, that's Wonder Man right there. I think I accidentally called him Simon Wells. Oops, my bad. And, yeah, Vision goes to confront the Avengers because, well, the Avengers want to kill Vision's family, and he's not gonna let them. And taking a look, the Avengers have some pretty hard hitters standing right there in the crowd. And specifically Medusa, who's one of the most powerful Inhumans, Ms. Marvel, who's pretty damn powerful back there, and that's Doctor Strange standing right there. So yeah, they got out all the heavy hitters. I'm not even kidding when I say this, but the Vision goes up and single-handedly takes down all of the Avengers, including Jane Foster Thor, Captain Marvel, Medusa, Alexander Luthor, and both Spider-Mans and both Captain Americas, which are pretty much heavy hitters in the entire Marvel damn universe.
What the fuck is happening here?
I mean, geez, I love Vision and everything, and I know that Vision's pretty powerful in his own right, but I think this is motherfucking overkill right here. As Vision's wife called the police officers and told them everything that she did, and she knows that someone can confirm it, her husband, the Vision, as she drank from a gift that Scarlet Witch gave him a very long time ago, from an adventure where they were up against the Silver Surfer, as the two of them have one last memory to share with each other. Please excuse me, husband. I drank from the flying water vase of Zenla. It's the corrosive effects of the liquid are already working through my system. This will cause some problems with my corporal and incorporeal nerve reception. You are dying. Yes. Phase now. Allow the water to pass through you. No. Please. Come sit with me, husband. Let me rest against you. And yet, Vision's wife dies, knowing what she did, but at a good cost to save her own husband's life, ending our story. Not before one final cliffhanger, as the Vision has a secret laboratory where we're doing the same thing over again, which means it's possible that history will repeat itself. And so that was Vision by Tom Kane, and despite me skipping around a lot, because a lot happens in this, more so, they tell you a lot that's going on, like the Vision background with the Avengers and everything. But do I recommend it? Hell yeah. You don't have to be a big Vision fan or even a big Avengers fan to know who's actually in this, and especially since probably what's inside of Wonder Man probably might have shown up in the Vision here, then that means that you should go and pick it up. I got this as a Christmas gift, and seeing here it only cost $30, maybe cheaper. That's actually a bang for your buck because you're getting 12 issues with all within one great compendium. So I'd highly recommend it, and please do check it out if you can read it. And let me know what you guys thought about Wonder Man. If you've seen it in the comments down below, please don't spoil it for me. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon to be notified every single time I make an upload. Follow me at Twitter with the link in the description down below. I've been Lazy Universe. I brought nerdy keeping on. Please check out Tom King's Division. Let me know how Wonder Man did in the comments down below. And I've been Lazy Universe. I brought nerdy keeping on. And until next time, guys, and as always, take care.